Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from the newly refurbished Manzoni 680 Hotel in Nairobi CBD. As always, I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. Now, as our name suggests, the Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and solidarity. And we do this by creating an open and a safe platform for women to discuss issues pertaining to their health and lifestyle, their work, their families, and anything that affects them in one way or another. We also take time to celebrate formidable women who are doing big things not only for themselves but for their communities at large. In recent years, conversations around health and wellness in Kenya have taken center stage. This is because people are more conscious of their weight and their overall well-being. So from the use of diet plans and fitness programs to herbal remedies and surgical intervention. Most recently, we have injectable medications that have been added into the array of weight loss trends. Now, this is obvious to show you that there has been a rapid rise in the trends that are being carried out, especially when it comes to weight loss management across the country. So on this episode of Dadas Show, we will explore said weight loss trends in a bid to understand them better, and even more to ask questions such as, are they sustainable? What are the risks and the benefits associated with this? And how does the Kenyan lifestyle influence the choices made when it comes to weight loss management? Now, as always, we welcome you at home to join us in this and any other conversation that we may have across all social media channels at KBC Channel 1. You can also reach me directly at Ashiko the host across all social media platforms. Now, before we get into today's very exciting conversation, because I know so many of us want to learn more, let's take a look at the following feature.
The prevalence of weight and obesity in Kenyan women is 3 times high as that of their male counterparts as a result of poor feeding habits and lifestyle in general. At the age of 32 years, Ms. Gathoni Kungu weighed 108 kilograms. Her weight posed various significant health risks.
I used to eat a Spanish omelette of 3 eggs, then I'd put potatoes, I'd put onions, I'd put tomatoes. Then I'd say it needs to be layered. So I'd put 4 slices of bread and a mug of tea with milk and 4 sugars. So that was just my breakfast. Then to hide, on Saturdays I used to love eating chips. So I put a full plate full of chips. Then I put like eggs. Then I put a bit of cabbage. Then because the cabbage is there with a bit of kachumbari, I'd lie to myself that I'm eating. But my portions were just really unhealthy. So I believe a combination of that. I was into a lot of junk food, biscuits, creams, chocolates. I used to snack on a lot of snacks. Very unhealthy snacks.
For Gathoni, losing weight did not mean starving herself or buying expensive luxury products. It was all about understanding quantities and nutrients in our regular food.
So my weight loss journey, I added, the day I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I was about 87 kilos. All through my pregnancy, I added about 24 kilos. And I was comfortable and happy with it. But when I had my daughter, I had an emergency cesarean section. So I got something called adult asthma. So the whole time after I had my daughter, because I was in a cold room, I always used to wheeze. So I thought, oh wow, okay fine, this is interesting. Where do I have the adult asthma? I ignored it, but my clothes were getting bigger. So I was a size 14. Then I continued eating. Now it was even in school. I became a size 16, a size 18. And I was not doing anything about it. Then I went to meet one of my girlfriends, and when she looked at me, I could see the shock in her face. Because she could see that the blazer that I wore was for somebody who's size 20. And she told me, you know, when I look at you, Gadhani, you don't look the size that you're supposed to be. I had a lot of knee issues, a lot of back issues, and like what I told you, I thought I got adult asthma, but I went to see a chest specialist who actually told me, Gadhani, it's just your weight. He did a test to check on my asthma, and he told me that my lungs are for 90-year-old. When you actually check them in the system, when I was breathing in and out, he told me my lungs are for 90-year-old.
Weight loss can be a challenging journey, but maintaining the weight after losing the excess is more challenging.
Okay, my trainer has given me, you know, Fridays as a cheat day. But you know, when your body has gotten so used, even like I can't eat a full chapo now. I can't imagine my body does not even digest it. I have to go to the bathroom immediately. Even like ugali, it's just like when I'm craving, I just take to just pad in my palate, just to something different. But once your body has gotten used to eating like that for such a long period of time, it cannot eat it so much.
A balanced diet, regular exercise, and consistency are essential for maintaining the results of any weight loss procedure. For Dadas Show, my name is Miriam Odanga.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, the topic of today is the emerging weight loss trends currently taking hold of our country. So joining me to uncover the real stories behind these particular trends is Dr. Paras Rathod from the Avane Clinic. And right next to him, we've got Stephanie Mwaura, who's a health and fitness coach. Asanteni sana for joining us today. I can also not fail to acknowledge my wonderful audience and you at home for taking time each week sitting down with us as we discuss, as we support, as we learn from each other through our various discussions on the Dadas Show. So, to get the ball rolling, here we are. And the thing about it is this conversation is long overdue because we got so many inquiries from our viewers in regards to discussing this topic. So this is something that we have actually been really looking forward to, and we are very, very honored that both of you could actually get time to come and sit with us. I think most people are still a little bit shy about the, you know, some of the trends that they're on. So we were not lucky or fortunate enough to get someone to come and say, I'm using this and I'm proud of it. Because, like we said, the importance of this conversation is because many things are still in the gray. And that is why we're having this conversation, so that people can be confident and say, I'm using this, I am proud of it, these are the risks, this is what is happening to me. So let's get the ball rolling. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I've just mentioned who you are, and your connection to today's topic of discussion.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Paras Rathod. I'm an associate at Avane Clinic in clinical dermatology and aesthetic medicine with an experience of 3 years. The clinic offers various programs for weight loss, and most of our clients are actually women who struggle with weight. And so we have been pioneering in these procedures, and we also offer certain weight loss programs which are trending. For example, the Ozempic pen, yeah, which has been trending from last year. Yes. There was a lot of reservations initially. It's a drug that comes from the US. It's a pen, okay? So that this drug ideally was designed for diabetic patients type 2, but it has also been approved by the FDA for weight loss, because when you are struggling with weight, you actually are at a risk for many other health conditions. For example, getting a stroke, getting a heart attack. Like obesity is actually classified as a disease as much as hypertension, and diabetes is also classified as a disease. Yes. So if you have a disease, you have to treat it, you have to manage it, and this drug particularly has been designed for weight loss. A lot of our clients have done this, have used this drug, and they have got results which they have been satisfied and happy with.
Excellent. We're going to get into that, but I really like to see that we are, you know, I would like to express to our viewers that we're in very good hands, because part of the trends that have, part of the things that have been, the weight loss programs that have been trending are the Ozempic pen, the Mounjaro, so this is why this conversation was very necessary, and that is why we're very honored to have you. So welcome, Dr. Rathod, and thank you. We will be with you shortly. So let's move on to Stephanie. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your interaction with today's conversation.
My name is Stephanie Maura, and I'm a personal trainer and fitness coach, and I only train women. So when you are talking about anything weight loss, fitness related that relates to women, I probably have been there. How this topic relates to me is weight loss is the biggest thing that we are addressing in the fitness industry. And the reality is that we are addressing this from women, mostly, who drive the fitness industry. The fitness industry is 70 to 90%. It's 70 to 90% of its clientele are women. And the main reason they are coming to us is weight loss. That's one of the biggest things that we are doing. So the truth is, there's a lot of shame, unfortunately, around weight loss procedures. And that is why many people are not open to say that I'm using this, I'm doing that. But the truth is now we are seeing them. I have clients who have gone through gastric procedures, surgical procedures. I have clients who have used the component we are calling semaglutide, given different names, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. It's a diabetic drug, but we now have it here. It's here with us, so it's something we cannot run away from. It's important for us to reduce the shame around it so that we're able to address it and people are well informed, because without good information, that is where the risks are lying. Because when you want to do it, unless you go back door, yeah, exactly, and there are many. And that does not stop somebody from doing it. But if they were informed and they made an informed choice, then the consequences are something they'll be ready to deal with.
They'll be ready to
deal with. It is here with us, so it's important for us to talk about it.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I like that, reducing the shame, and maybe that should have been the topic, huh? Reducing the shame around, weight loss procedures. So speaking of weight loss procedures, we've talked about, the semaglutide, which is, of course, now, the Mounjaro, the Ozempic, but there are so many others. We've seen things about body sculpting. I don't know if that's a weight loss, but kindly, through your extensive experience, tell us some of the trends that are currently running in the country.
Okay. So one of the trends that has been running for the past, I would say 3 years or so, is the gastric balloon. Have you come across that one before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So the gastric balloon is a non-invasive procedure as well, and it's actually a pill that you ingest into your stomach. It's a very voluntarily program. You just ingest the pill, and then after the pill is ingested, it is inflated. It becomes a balloon, and the balloon has a life of 60 to 120 days. Okay, and eventually the balloon will then it will just explode, pop. And then you just excrete it. And it's the most natural way of losing weight, especially because the balloon at any given time is going to occupy 70% of your stomach, so you're only able to eat 30%. So this is why this has been advocated for quite some time, and it's the most natural way you can lose weight. It has a bit of its downside in terms of you might have experienced some vomiting, nausea, which can come about with any type of programs, but otherwise it's very safe, and the balloon is made of a material that can be easily compatible in the stomach. So you're not ingesting something that is harmful. There are other programs similar to that where it is ingested endoscopically by the doctor, but this is voluntarily. We offer the program. It's a pill that you take, and then it just inflates into a balloon, and you excrete it. So there's no need for endoscopy. There's no need for anesthesia. There's no particular need of a hospital setting. Yes, so it's also very cost efficient in that way, because there's not much involved, and it's a very safe way of. So that is something. We've inserted more than 100 balloons in our clinic, and the balloon promises that you will lose anywhere between 10 to 15% of your body weight in that period.
In that period, and you
Yes.
said it's about what? It's about 62?
Between 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a gastric balloon. Let's move on to the next one. What is the other one?
Another program that we have also in the clinic is the Slender Wonder, which is a metabolic program. This is a program that is designed coming from South Africa, and we've advocated for the program for about 14 years now. It entails different phases where where we provide you with some shakes and some sort of medications also to suppress your hunger, and also it helps to reduce fat absorption in the body. And these certain supplements, they're actually meant to replace your food as well, and it's just not a supplement, it's replacing your food intake, and that takes about 3 months to be in the program.
Yes.
And you would also tentatively lose, for men, they would lose anywhere between 8 to 12 kilos in 3 months, and for women, they would lose anywhere between 6 to 8 kilos in 3 months program.
Okay.
Yes. The other program that we have is the Metabolic Balance, which is a similar program where it's designed a particular diet, and it goes on for about 6 to 8 weeks, and then you're going to maintenance phase. However, the clinic currently is focusing more on the semaglutide, which is the Ozempic, which, as she mentioned, that it comes in many other different molecules, but it's under the same class of drugs for anti-diabetics called GLP-1. And we've got the Wegovy and also the Mounjaro. So as you mentioned, they all fall under one class of drugs as a GLP-1 agonist. So if you'd like me, I can explain more about that.
I definitely would want to hear more about that as we carry on, because that is, after all, why we're here. We want to learn more about it. But let me move on to you, Stephanie. Based on your experience, of course, as a health and fitness coach, why do you think women are turning to some very extreme measures? Like we mentioned earlier, there are people who are sewing, wiring their jaws shut. First, I'm like, okay, who said that one is effective? Because, you know, Daktari here is talking about, you know, suppressing, you know, your appetite. That's a little bit barbaric, but that's just my opinion. Why are women turning to some very drastic weight loss measures, in your opinion?
So one of the realities we are facing today is that the generations are getting heavier as they go by. When we were younger, we did not see overweight people. There were few and far between. When our parents were in their youth like us, they were weighing much less than we were. Foods were not as processed as they are now. They didn't have as many conveniences as we do now. These days, you can just sit and eat from your desk and eat 3 different cuisines at the touch of a button. Yes. You don't need to walk. You don't need to move around and do anything. I mean, exercising is even trendy. Like it's reserved, some people think it's reserved for a certain class of people. So the truth is we have a lot more of overweight cases in today's generation. So that's a reality we are facing. We cannot run away from that one. The reason why people are going for I don't know whether to call them extreme cases or extreme methods, but I would say, I would prefer to use the word alternative. If we think there's a better choice, then without the shame, then we can have a conversation like we're having here. We are not shaming anybody. Yeah. We talk about it. So why people are going for these alternatives instead of using movement, fitness, and nutrition guidelines is because there is the boom of social media and the fact that it is being done. So when I show you a before and after photo of me in January, we are in March. January and March, I would have lost what he's talking about, 8 to 12 kilos. And you're like, what did you do? We want quick results. Yes. That is why we are going for these things. We are not, you know, the patience and the delayed gratification is not a virtue of this generation. No, it's not. We want things now, we want these things yesterday. So I want to eat the way I want, but look the way I think I need to look. So we haven't reconciled those two things. So we want quick results, that's the truth. And I don't blame anybody for wanting quick results. That's a human thing. It's a natural thing. And then also we don't want to put in the work. The truth is fitness is not easy. It is not. As a coach, I will tell you that. You will hate me 3 minutes into the session and you're like, oh, why did I pay you? Why am I here? You know, you will not enjoy a big chunk of the session because I'm challenging you. I am pushing you beyond what you're naturally able to do. So if you're not able to deal with that, then you might, when you can afford, you will take an alternative. That's just the way the human being is. So we are more overweight than we were before, and we want quick results.
Oh, wow. Actually, that breaks it down and makes so much sense, because to be quite honest, I don't know if any of us have caught ourselves saying, you know what, if I had the money, I would have done this. If I had the money. Because to be honest, you go to the gym for 2 days, on the 3rd day, your nails are hurting. Every part of your body is in pain. So I don't even understand how there is shame, and this is a complete natural response. If Dr. Rathod comes and gives me an option and tells me this is what we can do, I'll definitely take it. So our focus on today's conversation is on the semaglutides. You were explaining to us, so how exactly do they work? Because if originally this drug was designed for diabetes, but of course FDA has approved it, for weight loss, how exactly does it work? Yeah.
So also to mention that that weight gain also plays an important role in diabetes. It is directly proportionate sometimes, especially if you have a family history. If you have a strong family history of diabetes and you have excessive weight, you are prone to getting the disease at a very earlier stage. So it is also advocated that sometimes if you're trying to prevent to get into that stage, you can actually use the drug. So if you have a strong history of diabetes, you are slightly overweight, and you're like probably 30 years old, okay? The diabetes type 2 generally starts after the age of 30, 35, okay? Because your insulin starts, like the sensitivity decreases. So you can actually take the drug as well to actually prevent this particular disease. So how this drug works is, it works in 3 areas especially. Well, it's a hormone. Hormones are signaling cells around the body. So the pancreas, which is responsible for producing insulin. So this particular drug mimics the GLP-1, okay? So it mimics, so it helps to exacerbate those effects of the GLP-1. So what happens is that it increases the insulin in the pancreas. In the stomach, what it does is that it reduces the gastric emptying. So you'll feel full all the time. It's a digestion process that usually takes about 2 to 3 to 4 hours. It will take longer, so you'll feel full the entire time. At the same time, it sends the brain some signals that to suppress your appetite. So it's working in those 3 areas. It is increasing your insulin sensitivity and the number, and it's reducing the gastric emptying. At the same time, it's telling your brain, hey, like you've had enough, you've eaten enough, so like you shouldn't eat. So that's how it becomes sustainable, basically, right?
Okay, now that we know that and we still have it, before we move to alternatives, okay, actually, let's move on before I come back and now find out, the meat of the show, which is what are the risks, what are the benefits, what are the risks, so that we can sit here getting into this very, very knowledgeable. So what has it that, these injections are not particularly cheap? But of course, in the Kenyan context, cheap is relative. For me, that may be cheap change. For others, that may be the whole paycheck. But for us, if we're looking at the financial component, what other alternatives do you have as a fitness coach? If someone does not want to go this particular direction. We've already talked about so many. We've talked about herbal remedies. We've talked about surgical intervention. We've talked about all sorts of things. What are the alternatives that are out there that can get us fast results in your area?
I am actually a coach who believes in giving a client quick wins in the early stages of your program, because otherwise you're not going to hang around. So I need the program to be, well planned, enough for me to deliver some results to you within the first month of the program, so that you're motivated to actually continue. Yeah, so I also say that one of your best investments in your fitness journey is a good coach. Number 2, make use of the good food we have in Kenya. Kenya has fresh, whole, natural food. Yeah? Food that your grandmother can recognize. Not these are the ones that are in a packet with an expiry date. Kama iko kwa shelf na iko na expiry date, for sure. There's things that were put to keep it there and things that were removed to keep it there.
To keep it there. Oh, I like
So
that.
it's not as nutritious as you want it. There is no good food and bad food. It's either
Yeah.
nutritious or it's not.
Or it's not,
And
yeah.
food is nourishment. It's supposed to build and support your body.
Yes.
So make sure that what you're eating is whole. The best time to eat is when you're hungry. When you wake up in the morning, you can actually go a few hours without something in your mouth. You can take water. That thing we start saying, oh, I'm shaking, I'm having a headache.
Hunger.
It is more mental than physical. If I ask you today, describe for me what your hunger feels like in your body, I can tell you mine. My stomach starts making other sounds. I'm like, okay, it is empty. Right? But you'll be so surprised that your brain functions very well, even when you haven't eaten. It has fat storage. It can use what is in storage.
So what you're saying, is it specific to everybody?
This is all of us.
Because I feel like if I'm hungry, I'm definitely not going to function.
It is all of us.
Yes.
It is all of us. If we can train ourselves to eat when we are hungry, and then when you feel full, just stop, put it away. So the hunger hormone it exists to tell you, eat now.
Yes.
Once you're full, leptin checks in, but we don't listen. You're like, that chapati is so nice.
We were taught not to listen.
We were told there are
to
children
it.
in other parts of the country without
Who are
food.
dying hungry. I don't know
So
if
we
we're supposed to
finished
shift.
a plate
I
of
don't know if we're supposed to
ugali
shift
with
that food wherever.
exactly. So there's also a way we were brought up that eating. I mean, I come from a culture where we say a good child is the one who is eating. There you go. So eating is so emotional. We don't even think that, hey, I'm full. Also, if your food is giving you the effect of falling asleep, you overeat.
You're blowing my mind.
You know, there you say, I like eating ugali. After I can't eat ugali for lunch because after I eat it, I'm going to black out in the meeting. So those are the things that we can learn from our bodies.
Yeah.
Your body is yours. Do as many natural experiments as you can.
Yeah.
Test, when you're in a meeting or in a function that is of interest to you, you sit there, you contribute to the conversation, you sip your water, you don't get out to eat until it's done. Why can't we do that when we are at home? It's because of practice. So the best time to eat is when you're hungry, okay? So if you can train yourself to eat and also time our meals. If we fed ourselves the way we feed our children, we would also be way ahead in terms of managing weight gain. We don't overfeed children. We feed them at a certain time. We give them a certain amount of milk.
True.
We wait. We balance all their meals. There's no meal you give a baby that doesn't have a carbohydrate, a protein, and a vegetable.
Facts.
But when it's you, chips and chips.
And
Okay?
more chips.
And then more chips on the side. And then a chapati with a chapati and a
chips.
cup of tea. There you go.
One of the things that that are part of our Kenyan lifestyle is, of course, celebrities, influencers, all of those things. So, what role has social media and let's even say nutritionists, actually, what role has social media played in the uptake of these weight loss trends?
So I think that was what we were discussing earlier, like how has social media impacted, especially in those three eras, before COVID, during COVID, or after COVID? Like why has, especially there's a lot of movement happening on health and body consciousness, especially during or after COVID. It's either you've lost a lot of weight, okay, that means you've done the right thing in that period, or you've gained a lot of weight. So social media, if it's driven in the right direction, again, then it would give you the right. Everyone is scrolling on reels. If you're on the right algorithm, you will get the right guidance on how to make yourself better and feel confident in yourself, and find methodologies of doing the right way of losing weight. But eventually, I strongly believe that if you are someone who's struggling with that, you need to get professional help. Keeping in mind that weight loss is also related to depression, okay, anxiety, yeah. So you've done your DIYs at home, it's not working. That is why you're coming to get some professional help, like with a fitness coach, with a doctor, with a clinic that offers such programs, okay? Answering one of the questions was like where you mentioned like, why am I always feeling hungry, okay? It's because you're not eating the right food, okay? So if you're having your chips, which is your carbohydrate, and your fats, it's going to get digested faster than your protein, okay? So that's why your gastric emptying is happening faster, so you're feeling hungry again. Whereas if you're taking the right amount of protein, which I'm going to tell you today, it is one, if you're, for a normal person, it's 1 gram per kilogram. If you're someone who has, it works out generally, would be 1.5 to 2 grams per kilogram. So if you're weighing 70 grams, then you should be taking 70 grams of protein in a day, which can be divided into 3 portions.
So is that why, is that what, because it's, you're talking about protein, is that what makes things like the keto diet effective?
Yes, because it's high protein. That means you're not always feeling hungry, because that protein is taking more energy, more time to empty in your stomach, so that you don't feel hungry all the time, and it's going in the right areas of your muscles, of your organs, to supply them with the right nutrition.
Oh, wow. That's excellent. A follow-up question into this before we go on the break. Why is it important to actually seek a healthcare professional, you know, to seek out when you're thinking about weight loss management? Because what we are seeing, like you say, it's, and I'm not calling anyone a monkey, so monkey see, monkey do. Like we've just talked about the influence of social media on our decisions and our choices when it comes to weight management. So why is it important, as much as you are swearing by this celebrity and how she's lost all this weight in 2.4 weeks, why is it important to definitely seek a professional, you know, guidance from a medical professional?
I think, of course, because there's a lot of gray zone, right? You're, like the way you're saying, you're doubting whether is it really true or not. When you come to a professional, you've got scientific data that is backing up a particular program, which is why you would be convinced to sign up, and also keeping in mind that you're investing the amount of money that you've saved and you want it to go in the right direction. So you rather save that money to come in for a consultation and get the right guidance than doing 10 different methodologies which actually might not work or become more expensive for you.
Oh, wow, excellent. So we are going to take a short break, and then we'll come back for the question and answer session. I hope this conversation is as illuminating for you as it is for me, because now I've discovered that, you know, you should only eat when you're hungry, not because you can. So I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you have missed one heck of a fantastic fast session. But fear not, because all of the Dadas Show episodes are on YouTube under the KBC Channel 1 page. So you can definitely find all the previously aired episodes, and you can talk to us about it. What do you like? What don't you like? What can we feature in the future? Remember to also follow us on KBC Channel 1. You can also find us at Dadas Show KBC on Facebook. Remember to like and follow. So to start us off on the question and answer session, I have Alice. Alice, karibu sana.
In the new year, we usually enroll for the gym, most of us. You go the first day, the second day, the third day. On the fourth day, you don't even have the energy to get out of bed. Everything is aching from your hair to your nails. How can that be regulated?
Thank you.
I am not a coach who ascribes to the no pain, no gain theory. In as much as workouts are challenging, they should actually complement your lifestyle, not to make it worse. It's just 1 hour of your day. It shouldn't make the rest 23 hours.
The rest of the week, what are you talking about?
So it's important to start. The best way to deal with that is to start with a program that takes you from the fitness level you're at now. If you go to a coach and then they're making you do things you're seeing people who've been training for 10 years doing, then maybe they started climbing the tree from up. No. So ease in. I always say ease in. Also, let me encourage us to not all run on 1st of January. We all go running, and encourage us to fast by going walking. Let's all walk fast. So ease into the program, that's what I would say. Ease into the program. Also manage the frequency until you get used to it. Will there be soreness? Yes, because your body is getting used to exercise. But how you deal with soreness, number one, rest, so get enough sleep. Number two, hydrate, take your water, enough water throughout the day. Number three, eat enough protein. If you're not eating enough protein, your muscle is not repairing. And then manage the frequency. The sweet spot for training is 3 to 5 days. But as a beginner, 3 days are good enough, and then walk daily. The thing many of us make a mistake with is we train in the morning and then we sit at the desk the whole day. Your muscles will get sore for sure. So go for a walk, take a desk break, walk a distance you'd have taken a boda, walk up the stairs instead of using the lift. Small movements compound into a lot of good results.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I've never had the one for eating proteins, you know, and I think that's very, very crucial. But yeah, that was a very valuable question, because I think some of us, our longest time in the gym maybe is like 4 days. And then after that, everything, including my soul, is in pain. And I'm like, achana nayo. So thank you so, so much for that. And you've talked about for a beginner, a complete beginner who has a very sedentary lifestyle. You've said 3 times in a week.
3 times in a week. And also one of the easiest ways to start is by walking. For all my programs, one of the things that is mandatory when it comes to movement is walking. You can start by walking, and there's been big progress for people who just, even people who just, that's why you're asking people in the village, I mean, what do we do for them? And they walk more than those of us in the urban areas.
Absolutely.
So walk.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alice. I hope your question has been answered. Asante sana for that. So our next question is from Smiling Jenna, and I will leave to Dr. Rathod. Jenna.
Dr. Rathod, I'd like to know, is there a way that you can combine the weight loss treatments? Is that advisable?
Great. I think you've got the perfect combo today with her. So obviously, so what happens is that certain treatments, like sustainability, becomes a problem, not because of financial implications sometimes, but also because your body will reach a plateau. So when you reach the plateau, that's when you would, the doctor would advise you if you can integrate certain programs. So for example, if you're doing the Allurion gastric balloon and you've lost this much amount and you reach a plateau, then we would introduce the Ozempic pen. If you're doing the Ozempic pen and you feel that maybe that you've reached the plateau, you're still doing the pen and you're losing enough, then you would integrate a metabolic balance, so you'd introduce the Slender Wonder. And all in all, with that, exercising, working out, doing your steps, anything to increase your metabolism is very important. So it should all work simultaneously.
So it's very important for people at home to know if you are taking wine, because I think that has also been a discussion that has been had on social media. So you're going there and you're going for your Ozempic pen, and then you're sitting down and waiting for things to just happen. So no matter what we do, unfortunately, we cannot run away from the likes of Stephanie and the gym. So let's make peace with that. So our next question, thank you so much, Jenna, for that. Our next question is from Lavinia.
Hi, thank you so much. So my question goes to Dr. Rathod. So let's say I've undergone a weight loss procedure and I've lost a lot of weight and I have some sagging skin. So is there a procedure that I can do that is non-invasive? Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, a lot of people, after they've lost that weight, they will look a little different, sometimes in a good way, sometimes not in a good way. So as much as you're losing fat, there's the skin that on top of it becomes very loose, and then what you want to do is sometimes you also struggle with subcutaneous fat. So you're losing general body weight, but this thing, it's like never going. So we have something called cool sculpting, which is cryolipolysis, which uses fat freezing methodology to freeze a stubborn subcutaneous fat. The terminology is stubborn. So whatever is stubborn under your arms, if you've got at your belly, sometimes your love handles, we have that methodology, non-invasive. You don't have to go under the knife and you will tentatively lose weight, as well as some tightening treatments at the clinic. We also have a female doctor at the clinic for female clients, for women who are comfortable seeing a female doctor, they can also visit the female doctor. The clinic, however, is pioneered under the guidance of Dr. Pancholi, who is the consultant at the clinic.
Excellent information. I like that. So you've talked about cooling for the stubborn fat, and you know, is that only for the skin that is not going, but can that also be used for weight loss? Because we've seen people, there are all these regimes, you know, burning, there are those people. And why is it like that? There are those clinics that are offering, there's a lot of applying heat, and others are freezing. How can those two completely polar opposites be effective to reducing, burning, to getting rid of fat?
Yeah, so the two different technologies is the fat freezing, which is the cryolipolysis. The fat freezes at anywhere between 7 to 9 degrees. The fat will freeze, and then what will happen, it doesn't have any life. So then it is uptaken back into the bloodstream, and then you'll actually excrete it with the urine. And the other methodology is the radio frequency heating. So your body temperature is anywhere between 36.7 to 36.9. And if you heat anything above that, including your fat, is basically it's going to melt. So the melting goes anywhere between 39 to 42 degrees using those devices, and it's actually going to help to melt the fat. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. Does it ever come back?
The umbrella under all this falls is discipline. So discipline is necessary.
Thank you so much. Enough said. Next, we've got Monica. Monica, karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Ashiko. And my question goes to Daktari. For these emerging methods of trying to manage weight loss, I've heard you talk about the Ozempic and also the gastric balloon. I don't know whether there is also another relationship with the gastric sleeve. Now, my question is, what are the side effects of long-term use? And also, is it sustainable? Should I stop at some point and when I have attained my weight, maybe the amount of weight I wanted to lose, should I continue or stop? Thank you.
Yeah, very good question. I mean, there's a lot of, most of the common questions we get is what's the side effect of the drug. So the side effects are there's acute or a chronic side effect. The acute would be some sort of nausea, which is very common and can be taken care of, some sort of vomiting. You can experience, for certain patients, they've experienced some sort of headaches, which can be taken care of. So there hasn't been any major or life-threatening side effects per se with the Ozempic pen. And also, the second question was the difference between the Allurion balloon or the gastric sleeve. Yeah, so the gastric sleeve is actually, first of all, the sleeve is a surgical intervention, so that's something different. The Allurion balloon is something non-invasive. In terms of sustainability, at the end of the day, it is all about discipline, like we said. You know, with anything, even with your work, in terms of consistency, with any profession, you need discipline. So if you are determined that you want to lose weight, yes, this will be a push start because you've been struggling. It will be a push start. It will be a bonus. It will be a bolus. So you can get onto that journey. At the end of the day, also your mental mindset is that, oh yes, I'm losing some weight and I'm happy with it. So then you will also channel yourself like, yeah, let's get on this track. Yes. So it's all about getting the push start seeing the results. Like what Madam mentioned as well, like once you start seeing the results, then you will see the sustainability will eventually come about.
Okay, I'd like to know the legitimacy and also the side effects of these herbal medications like the slim teas, especially to young people like us.
Okay, that's a good question. Let me say that a lot of the slimming teas and the pills and shakes and all that stuff that people are given, the thing that they help you lose is what we call water weight fast. Nobody tells you how much you'll be camping in the loo, right? When you're on a juice fast or on a tea that is making or increasing the frequency of bowel movement. So that is how most of them work. So the weight that you've lost is not the weight that you're trying to lose, which is body fat. So they work temporarily. If you want to fit into a dress on Saturday, and today is Monday, it works perfectly fine. But on the long term, we cannot achieve weight loss by taking something orally. Weight loss needs for you to reduce body fat percentage by forcing your body to use body fat for energy as opposed to what you're ingesting. So some of the side effects that we see are dehydration is a big one, which could end you up at the emergency room because you've been in the loo the whole time, your body is not maintaining any fluid. We've also seen people getting gastric issues, hyperacidity, even ulcers. Like if you're over-consuming these things, you don't know the effects that they could have. The other thing is many of us don't even know how our health is.
Exactly.
So we just want to lose weight. Like we are so obsessed with we want to lose weight. If I ask you some basic questions about your health today, they're not at your fingertips. So we do them without knowing that we might have some underlying conditions. Like as he said, we are predisposed to diabetes and so many other things today because of the way our lifestyles are. So it's important to not take these things without knowing where you're at. Let's also develop healthy habits even around our socialization.
Yes.
So meet a friend and go to Karura for a walk. Meet a friend and go for a hike. Meet a friend and go for a swim. Meet a friend and go for a gym. Have you ever gone for a gym date with a friend?
Why?
Yeah, gym buddies.
It's one of the best things you'll ever do because there is no interruption with food and
or
drink.
interaction.
Yeah,
so
you will be able to do
you're
that.
dying in that corner and I'm dying in that corner. Thank you so much. I want Dr. Rathod to add on to that because there's certain things that we have talked about, all these regimens and all these things. But when you're embarking on a weight loss journey, what are some of the things that you should actually consider? Because you've talked about when your car has a problem, you just don't go and fill the tank. You actually do an overall assessment. What are some of the things, like conditions, and things that people should take into consideration?
So as much as we've discussed on poor eating habits, which is one of the primary concerns of weight gain, but especially because of today's discussion around women, what happens is that there is some underlying cause, gynecological issues, such as something which is very common these days is polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis. Also taking contraception can also make you gain weight. Because you're actually causing a hormonal imbalance. Certain conditions like hypothyroidism. So it is also important sometimes, as much as you're struggling with weight, but especially for women, it is also important to get your regular gynecological, at least once in a year for young girls who are struggling with weight, to get their gynecological preliminary examinations done with the doctor, so that sometimes the weight gain can be addressed with the underlying cause. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so important. We move around life not knowing you may have PCOS, you may have this, and you're busy thinking you're punishing yourself, you're being so mean to yourself because you think, I'm just fat. But there's something, there's genetics, there's a condition. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Thank you so much for that, Stephanie, as well. So on our final question of the day, it is coming from one Mr. Kizito. Sana Mzito.
Thank you, Madam Ashika, for this wonderful show. My question is actually concerned with the local community in the village where I come from, and I was asking the coach, are there any other alternative means or ways of losing weight? And I'm very happy that the coach has told us walk. It's very good. And also, I like to say ride. And those of you who have got cars, wash your car yourself. Don't take the washing to the washing whatever. Just wash it yourself. That's exercise. And also, go to the garden, dig. Go to the field and just work up to 4-5, then go back home, eat and sleep. That's what I do myself. Thank you.
Me, when I grow up, I want to be like Kizito. I want to live in the village. I wake up, I farm my lettuce, and then I pick fresh herbs. I make my cup of tea. I go pick fresh eggs. That's the life I'm aspiring to live. The principles we apply in the urban areas are the same ones we would ask people to apply in the village. The challenge with weight gain is the correlation between movement and what we are eating. We eat more food than we require, and then we move a lot less than we should. So if we can, number one, balance all your meals. Yeah? Every plate must have a protein, a good carbohydrate that your grandmother can identify. I'll keep using that as reference, because your grandmother does not know those ones in packets. She knows potatoes, matokes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with chips. We are the problem. Let me say that. Even chapati, there's nothing wrong with chips, chapati. We are the problem. Yes. We consume them in copious amounts and we hope that they don't make us gain weight. So we are consuming things in large amounts. As I said, we don't know when we are full, so we keep eating. But potatoes are fantastic. Even the nutritional value of potatoes is very high. So make sure there's a protein, there's a good carbohydrate, and every plate must have veggies. Veggies, veggies, veggies. We are lucky to be in a country that has good weather. We don't have seasonal vegetables like other countries. Here you will find skuma all year round, spinach all year round, cabbage, lettuce, watu wanasema sama sijui za Wahindi, sijui what, za wazungu. There's nothing like that. Vegetables are vegetables. Let me also add that we are also gaining weight a lot today because of poor sleep and high stress. When you have slept badly, your hunger hormone is raised automatically by your body. So if you slept 3 hours, don't be surprised why you're hungry just after you finish the food. Because the hunger hormone is at a high because of poor sleep. So if we can improve our sleep, adults are not sleeping enough.
They're really not.
They are not sleeping enough. And we've even made jokes these days. We'll hear somebody saying sleep is for the weak. My friend, people who sleep well, their bodies function very well. Second thing is stress. There's a lot of things that are causing us stress, including the social media that we are now using.
I want to give you guys an opportunity very, very briefly to give us a parting shot on the conversation of today. We've come to the conclusion that there's no shame around getting any of these procedures done, but it is very, very vital for you, first of all, to get professional help, to actually seek professional help, know your body before you even start enlisting the use of these ones. Know what is the cause of your weight gain and explore everything that is available before actually settling down for something. So thank you so much. What is your take on our conversation for today as we say goodbye?
Okay. I think the motto for myself this year is that your health is your wealth. Okay? So if you want to quantify your wealth, you need a good health, right? And we have modalities of how you can become healthier. Let's just not focus on weight loss, but more of a holistic approach of living a healthy lifestyle, including mental health, physical health, emotional health, and well-being. So, and always be happy and smiling. And I think that plays a very big role as well, because stress levels are very high. So try to keep yourself healthy and happy by smiling.
So thank you so much, Daktari, for that. What about you?
What I would say is consider the weight loss, weight gain conversation is all about lifestyle. As long as you're alive, it is a way of living. So play the long game. Even if you get a head start from a procedure, remember to keep moving your body, to keep nourishing your body, invest in good food. Don't just invest in clothes and good cars and furniture. Also invest in the body that you live in. This is the vessel and the vehicle that you live this life in. So take care of your health the same way you would take care of the material possessions that you have. Get a regular health check. Do your due diligence when you're getting any of these things done for you. And I'll say, as I said in the beginning, one of the best investments you'll make in your health is getting a good coach.
I mean, I feel like this is definitely one for the books. So it's something that I can see in every single person's face here that we have definitely come out with some information. Even though you're not the one who immediately stands to benefit, you know there's myths that have been busted, you're getting encouraged, you're getting motivated. And that's definitely a very good place for us to end the show. We have come to the end of this very, very fantastic episode of Dadas Show. As always, we encourage you to keep in touch with us at KBC Channel 1 across all social media platforms. You can also reach me directly at Ashiko the host across all social media platforms. Remember to also send us your message, what you think about this conversation at Dadas Show KBC on Facebook. So, on behalf of the production team at KBC, my lovely location partners, the newly refurbished Manzoni 680 Hotel, myself, Ashiko, I wish you all a very loving week. I will catch you same time next week. Till then, bye-bye.